Good morning guys, gals, and non-binary pals. How are you all doing today? My name is Infantbread, and in this video I'll be going over how to solve the new Shengshou clock puzzles. So since all of these puzzles are all fairly similar, it is recommended but not necessary to know how to solve the original clock first. I will go over how to solve this puzzle just so I have all three in the same video. If you already know how to solve this puzzle, you can skip this part. So how a clock works in general is you have 4 gears, one at each corner of a square, and 4 pins in a square formation. The pins can be either up or down. 2 positions. If all 4 pins are up, then move any of these 4 gears, and all 9 faces will move. If all 4 pins are down, and you move any of these 4 gears, then only the corners will move. If you move 1 pin up, and the other 3 are down, and moving this 1 corner will affect the faces around that 1 pin. Now the method I'm going to use for all 3 puzzles is very similar to the method shown by Z3 Cubing. His video goes in much more detail over how to solve specifically this clock. I will go over it again, like I said, to have all of them in one video. So let's scramble this thing. So the first thing we do with this method is get a cross on one side of the puzzle. What that means is get all faces moving to the 12 position, or the solved position. Moving all pins down, just to reset the puzzle, then moving only the top 2 up. So now these 4, actually this block of 6 will move, but we only care about these 4. Corners we'll do later. We're going to match the centerpiece with the one that we're not going to move. So now the top 2 pins are up, so the bottom will not move. So match this center with the bottom one. We're turning the gears, like so. So these 2 are now matched. Now we can move the top 2 pins down, move the right 2 pins up, so now the right section of the puzzle will move, meaning the 2 that we already solved, we're going to match up to the left one, which will not move. 1 click, and done. Do the same thing. Move the right down and the bottom up. So now top one will not move. You can match those up to have most of the puzzle solved. Finally, we have the left pins are up, so the right one will not move. 1 click, everything is in the same direction. Now we can move all 4 pins up and move everything to the 12th position. That solves the cross on one side of the puzzle. So now we flip the clock over and do it again. Now this is exactly the same as the first side, so we'll go over it a bit quicker than I did last time. All 4 pins down to reset the puzzle. Move the top 2 up, move the center to the one that's going to stay stationary, which is the bottom one. Top down, right up, the right section will move, the left one will stay stationary. Right down, bottom up, bottom section will move, top will stay stationary. And 1 more, left side will move, right side is stationary. Now we have that done, it's not necessary to move all of these to the 12th position, can if we want to, there's no need. Now we're going to solve the corners. Interesting thing about the clock is you only need to solve the corners on one side of the puzzle, since if you look at this gear, the corners will always move at the same position. So then we can use the same logic, moving all pins up this time, and we're going to move 1 pin down, and that clock will stay stationary, the others will move. So this cross, we're going to match up the corner that's staying stationary, which is now the left one. So remove any of the other gears to match up. We have 1 corner solved, move that pin up, move another pin down. Do the same process again 3 times. Once we have all the corners matched up, we can move all 4 pins up and move the puzzle to the 12th position, flip it over, and now that's the entire puzzle solved. So now with the regular clock solved, we can apply this same logic of the pin order to the smaller version. The solving process of this is exactly the same, just with fewer pieces. It will definitely be a lot shorter. So first what we do is align these inner triangles, or the centers I suppose. With one pin up is going to move two faces. So one of these two is going to be matched up to the bottom one, which will stay stationary. I'm going to choose that left one, because it's only one click away. So these two are now matched. We're going to move that pin down, and the left pin up to match these two with the third one, like so. So now we can have all three pins up, move them to 12, solve one side, flip the puzzle, and do it again. So we're going to move one pin up to move two and have one remain stationary. I'm going to match this left one to the top right, moving that gear over. Top two are in place, move one pin down, move the top pin up, match these two up with the bottom one click away. So same with the regular puzzle, we don't need to align these to the 12 position, so we can go straight into solving corners. We have one already in place, that happens a lot on this puzzle, so we can have to move two pins up, and the one that's down will remain stationary. I'm going to move the left one up, because that one's actually pretty close. 2 clicks, solves that side of the puzzle. One more move, solve all of the faces. Now move all of the pins up, move to 12, that's the puzzle solved. And now finally we have the largest puzzle of the bunch, the Pentagon. Now this one has an extra face in the middle, which can be a bit confusing, but that one only actually moves with that top pin. Since all pins are down, that one is up, move the top gear, and it moves. Since one of these pins moves the clocks around it, this one only move with one pin. If I take this left pin, for example, this only moves 3 faces. So it's not as complicated as it first seems. What we do now is solve the outer 5 faces, and then once those are in the same direction, we move those toward the middle. That one will be the last one we solve. So one piece we'll use as a reference to move all the other pieces relative to that. 2 are already solved, so I'll move this bottom clock, moving the right pin. That will move 2 clocks, but only going to worry about one of them for now. So move this to match up with the other 2, so that 3 are now solved. Then one more to move that face toward the other 3 we already have. Like so. Now we have 4 in and 1 out. So what we do is move all of these 4 to that position. Which means we need these 2, and these 2 to move. Meaning, you have these 3 pins up, with these faces to that right one, 1 click. Now all 5 are in the same direction. We can move that 4th pin up, this top one is still down, so this center will not move. Move that, have all 5 in the same direction. We can now move the top pin up, move everything to the 12th position. Like I've said previously, we flip the puzzle over and do it again. Starting with the top left as our reference, we move to the bottom, so have all the pins down except for this bottom left one which is up. Move that face to match those 2 up. 1 pin down, 1 pin up. The bottommost one match up with these 2 we already have. And one last time, move that. We have 4 all solved. Then we move this pin down and these 3 up, so that these 4 faces are going to match to that one in 1 click. Then we can move the final 4th pin up and move all 5 faces to match with the center one. Then exactly like the previous puzzles, we don't need to move these into the solved position at 12. We can go straight into solving the corners. We already have 2, so that's good. We're moving all pins up, and move down the one that's staying stationary. It's going to be this left one. So all gears are going to move one click over to solve this piece, this pin up, right one down. We have everything matched bar one pin up, one pin down, solve that. Then finally everything is in the same direction. We can move all 5 pins up, move everything to 12, and solve both sides. Now this may not have been the most efficient method, but it works to solve the puzzles. If people are interested in speed solving these, then I'm sure more advanced and efficient methods will be developed. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.